Bad Business. Salt and Pepper, the famous rap group from back in the day, has sued Universal Music Group, also known as UMG, to get their masters back, or in other words, to get their copyrighted music back. For those of you who don't know, I am Dave, a 10-year intellectual property attorney dealing with everything from, you see the shirt, patents, copyrights, trademarks, as well as trade secrets. And as I said before, these masters, if you will, or the music is a copyright. Now, we'll be taking a look at this Rolling Stone article to see kind of what's all going on with this one, but just kind of laying the lay of the land here. Seems like, the famous what Push It, real good. The famous song of Push It, as well as other songs that were created by the rap group Salt and Pepper. Seems like at some point they were owned by Universal Music Group, and kind of we all know after 35 years, I just did I not just did it, but I kind of did this video where Damon Dash was trying to essentially sell the Reasonable Doubt album to pay his debts off, but Jay-Z was telling anybody who, or the potential buyers, hey, it's not even worth buying it because I'm gonna get my masters back, or I'm gonna get it back anyway because it's gonna revert back to me after 35 years. I think it was 1996, so it's gonna revert back to me in 2031. So yeah, you can pay $2, $3, $4 million for it to own it for 5-6 years, but just know that ultimately it's going to come back to me. And essentially, this is what Salt and Pepper is looking to do. They're saying, look here, that tournament in I think it was the 52 Copyright Act, or maybe the 1976 Copyright Act, it gave the owners of the music the copyright a termination provision, which after 35 years of if they assign their copyright or the ownership of their copyrighted work to someone else, after 35 years, they can terminate that them giving the work, and that work reverts back to them. So this is essentially what Salt and Pepper is trying to do in this case. But UMG is like, nah, this is a work made for hire. And again, I bet I got a lot of advice or tips, I should say, to give you guys at the end of this video. So stay tuned for the end. But a work made for hire. So for example, if Disney hires you to write a movie script, or create a dance routine for a movie, that's a work made for hire. They're employing you for the main cause of creating this copyrighted work. And in those situations, those are owned by Disney in that case, and therefore you cannot use this kind of termination provision or this clawback provision to get the copyrighted back, the ownership of the copyrighted back at the 35 years. No, that doesn't work with a work made for hire. When a company or someone employs you, I just actually created a book that's going to be coming out. And I employed this gentleman simply to create this book. So it's a work made for hire, and I'm paying him to do it. I'm owning all the copyrights, and therefore after 35 years, he cannot try to say, hey, Dave, you owe me that, I'm terminate that agreement, and you owe me, I guess, the pictures or whatever it is that he did for the book. You can't do that with a work made for hire. However, if you created the work and somebody wants to license that work, or if you give ownership of that work that you had already created, that was not a work for made for hire, if you give that to somebody else or you sell it to somebody else, after so long, you can get that work back. And that is what Salt and Pepper is looking to do. So we're going to take a look at this this Rolling Stone article. These some housekeeping items. Please hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Hit that subscribe button to be a part of the IP community. And last but not least, the ebook Got IP, that link is in the description. Go check that out. Let's kind of see what they're talking about. So Salt and Pepper accused UMG of holding music hostage as duo fights for master rights. Man, it's unfortunate, man. You see these historical acts, these groups, these famous artists from back in the day having to fight a lot of times these major record companies to try to get their ownership of their work back. It's unfortunate, but I guess it's business. This fight is about more than contracts. It's about legacy, justice, and the future of artist ownership. The pair of legal reps, Rolling Stone. Let's go see what they're talking about. Let's kind of get out of this. So Salt and Pepper wants the rights to their music masters. On Monday, the rap duo Salt, I guess her name is Cheryl James, and Sandra Denton, also known as Peppa, sued UMG, accusing the label of violating the Copyright Act by not allowing the musician to reclaim control of their music IP 35 years after its release. As I said before, after 35 years, as long as it's not a work made for hire, you can terminate that assignment that you did of the copyrighted work, in this case, the music, and get it back. According to the lawsuit obtained by Rolling Stone, the pair filed notices of termination in 2022 to reclaim the master rights, which are owned by UMG's Next Plateau Records and London Records, signed in 86 and 1992, respectively. To the contrary, UMG has indicated that it will hold plaintiffs' right hostage, even if it means tanking the value of plaintiffs' music catalog and depriving their fans of access to their work. Man, business is a dirty game. They're saying, UMG, at least according to this article, is saying, hey, we're going to hold their IP rights hostage, even if it means tanking the value of the music catalog and depriving their fans of their access to their work. Man, that's unfortunate, man. According to an attached exhibit, the duo served UMG with a notice of termination rights, claiming that the 1988 Salt with the Deadly Pepper and 1986 Hot, Cool, and Vicious were up for termination of their copyright rights in 2024. The exhibit also states that the copyright ownership for 1990s, a blitz of Salt and Pepper hits in Black Magic, along with the 1993 are up in 2025. It also listed several remix versions of their album. So they trying to get everything back. That's essentially what it's saying. We trying to get everything we assigned to y'all or sold to y'all or gave it to y'all back in the day. We trying to get that back via this Copyright Act. UMG's copyright ownership interest in sound recordings is subject to termination. For the record stated, UMG will continue to possess the exclusive right to exploit the sound recordings pursuant to its rights. Read a June 22 response letter from UMG legal team. So this is UMG legal team saying, hey, regardless of what y'all saying about this termination, we still exploiting the sound recordings, essentially making money off the sound recordings, even though y'all trying to get y'all rights back, man. That's bad business. Ms. James and Ms. Denton are hereby advised to refrain from attempting to exploit the sound recorders or taking any other action interfering with the UMG. So they're saying, look, if y'all do anything trying to get y'all rights back, trying to make money off the records, we are going to come after y'all. Salt N Pepa's own legal filings demonstrate that repeated attempts we have made to resolve this matter amicably ever since the artist served an invalid termination notice, a spokesperson for UMG Group said in a statement. Although we had no legal obligations to do so, we still sought to find a way to improve the artist's compensation and pay them directly, even after they had sold their royalty streams to a third party. So it seems like Salt N Pepa, they're saying they gave their royalty streams to a third party. Clearly, the artist's legal counsel thinks they can use the threat of a negative media coverage from the lawsuit to achieve their unreasonable demands. Despite this, and consistent with our longstanding practice, we remain committed to the work towards an amicable resolution. Who is saying this? Salt N Pepa said in a statement. So, spokesperson from UMG, although we had no obligation to do so, we still fought a way to improve the artist's compensation paid directly. But as UMG, clearly the artist's legal counsel thinks they can use this threat. So they're saying this kind of negative media tour, they think it's going to help them, but it's not going to do so. Despite this, inconsistent with our long-standing practice, we remain committed to work towards an amicable resolution. So legal reps for Salt N Pepa told Rolling Stone that the removal of the pair's music from major platforms was a stunning, man, I'm telling you, man, these people will screw with your music. The lawsuit comes ahead of the musicians' induction into them. So they were just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Kudos to them. They're punishing them for asserting those rights and silencing decades of culture and shifting work. The reps wrote, like many artists, they're challenging the system that profits from their work while denying along with the rights to the masters. The duo has also requested actual damage that could result well exceed over $1 million. They are also asking for a permanent injunction to confirm their rights to the songs recorded and claim that they want to reach a mutually acceptable resolution. So what do you guys think about it? Man, this looks like bad business to me. Seems like, look, trust me, I can assure you that UMG is still making money off this thing. I think a few years ago, I'm not sure if it was a Super Bowl ad, but Salt N Pepa was in kind of along with the music, and I would imagine UMG had something to do with that. Hopefully Salt N Pepa got paid for that. But unfortunately, this is what you get when you deal with the majors. You have to be on the lookout, because when it's time to terminate those provisions, obviously UMG is making money, because if they weren't making money, they'd be like, okay, whatever, take the masters. But they're, to say the least, making it difficult for Salt N Pepa to get their masters back. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I did want to give you guys some information, or I guess some tips just from this article. Number one, make sure when you are dealing with a major company, or any company for that matter, that it is clear that it's not a work made for hire, that you're assigning your interest, your ownership to that company, and it's not a work made for hire. In other words, saying that, hey, you guys are not employing me to make this music for your guys' game, but I've already made this music and I'm assigning my ownership in that music to you guys to the extent that you're going to do it at all. That way, in 35 years, you can terminate that agreement to get your masters or your copyrights back. Because again, the good thing about a copyright, it lasts for the life of the author plus 70 years. So even after Salt N Pepa demise, they can give this to their kids, to their family, so they can continue to profit off this. That's why it's so important when they talked about legacy at the beginning, because this stuff has a long shelf life. So again, that's the big thing. Make sure when you're doing these record deals with record companies or whoever for that matter, that you make it clear in the contract that this is not a work made for hire. I am giving you guys my interest, my ownership in this music, maybe for whatever salary or money that they're giving you. But in that way, in 35 years, you can get that copyright back, that ownership of the music back. And again, make sure you are a party to that agreement. So those are kind of my tips or advice for you guys. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Hit that subscribe button to be a part of the IP community, and check out that the ebook Got IP in the comments or in the description. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this one. Hey, unfortunately, these are becoming too much of a norm or a regular. I'm not sure if you kind of can blame that on the artist or on the label, on a major record label, or a little bit of both. Again, man, just got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and still trying to fight for your music. It's a cold game, man. It's a cold game. Let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.